Dan Arbell, who's a former Deputy Chief of Mission at the Israeli Embassy in Washington. Dan, thank you so much indeed for your time. How can a coalition which includes the left, the center, and the right, how can such a coalition succeed?
Well, you hit the million-dollar question. It's going to be very, very difficult because they represent such a wide spectrum across the political aisles in Israel, left, right, and center, and they agree on very little. But they do agree on the need to oust Mr. Netanyahu, and they do plan to focus on issues that are kind of issues of consensus, like the economy, like COVID-19, bringing down tensions between Jews and Arabs. And Lapid and Bennett have worked together before, and they have a mutual admiration, appreciation, and that could work. It's not going to be easy. They have many challenges that they face, but it can work.
What do you think the main sticking points will be when Yair Lapid says in that later statement, still lots of differences to resolve? What will they be looking at particularly?
Look, it contains a whole variety of issues. It contains issues of policy guidelines, as well as division of portfolios. For instance, they're now arguing about the agriculture portfolio, who will be minister. So that it can be small things, negligible things to us, perhaps, but these are big things for the parties themselves. As for policy guidelines, they have to agree on a mechanism of how they sort out differences that arise between the different parts of the future coalition, and who has the final say and who has the final vote. So these issues are very kind of in the weeds, very, very, very detailed issues in the as part of the mechanism that will be set up, and it's very hard to finalize it. But I believe that with a lot of will on both sides, when there is a will, there's a way. And it seems that Lapid, Bennett, and other party leaders are keen on moving this forward and doing it as fast as they can.
Dan, what do you think the Palestinians will be thinking? Is there a possibility that such a coalition will have a less hawkish approach towards relations with the Palestinians?
As you've said, Mr. Bennett is very close to Mr. Netanyahu and his views on the Palestinian question. But what they have agreed, Bennett and Lapid, not to deal or not to make any serious breakthroughs on the Israeli-Palestinian issue. And so I don't expect a major change in Israeli policy toward the Palestinians, but perhaps the atmosphere would be more conducive, and perhaps there will be a dialogue with Ramallah after years in which Jerusalem and Ramallah were kind of disconnected.
And what does it now mean for Benjamin Netanyahu not being prime minister if that were to happen?
There are several options. He could either head and lead the Likud party from the opposition. There's a chance he'd step down, and there's always a chance that his own party would decide to oust him. So his future is unclear. If I would have to put money on it, I would say that he would first go to the opposition, lead the opposition, and then perhaps steadily then step down at a later date. But right now, he would have to be leader of opposition.
Dan, what's the legal situation here in terms of the court case against and the charges of corruption against Netanyahu? Is him being prime minister actually protecting him in a certain way?
It is protecting him, and he wants to go to trial, and he wants to continue with the trial as prime minister. If he's just an ordinary minister or member of Knesset, he will have to resign from all his official duties. So this is something that he's keen on preserving, yet the trial goes on. It's at its initial stages. It can take years until it's over. And I think he may, at a certain point, want a plea bargain. He may want to try and get a pardon from the president. Right now, the trial is on, and he is doing his utmost to not to have the trial either annulled or try to find some way of stopping this trial.
Dan, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much indeed. Really interesting to hear your analysis. That's Dan Arbell speaking to us from Maryland.